Sound all good?
All good, mate.
Frank Warren. We'll get to the return of Daniel Dubois to his best in a minute, but another big return, the fans. How good was that?
Well, that I was just saying to somebody, to get an atmosphere, so the fighters is brilliant. The crowds, it just made it so much different. Coming into here and hearing them chanting before, hearing them all singing before you even got inside the arena, it was like, this is what it's all about. This is what what we've really missed. And you think how difficult it's been for fighters over the last, how long now? For the last 14, 15 months, whatever it's been, no atmosphere, fighting in a sterile environment. And I think it's been difficult for some fighters because some fighters respond to the fans. And it showed tonight, that atmosphere was just fantastic. It sounded like there was 10,000 people in here.
Yeah, the atmosphere was unreal. But like we say, Daniel Dubois returned to his best. Only 2 rounds. We didn't see too much from him, but we saw enough.
You saw all you need to see. You see that power's there. You see if he catches you. If he catches somebody right, they ain't going to take that power. And that was a really emphatic and good win. He went in there tonight, and I heard him in a couple of interviews talking about, there were some demons in his head, and I'm sure that's from the criticism that he got in certain quarters, which I felt was not justified. But he showed what he was made of, and I said it would be the making of him tonight when he gets in there, and it was the making of him. And once he got into his stride, he got his rhythm going, he let that big shot go, and it was lights out.
It was a clever shot as well. It wasn't quite a straight right hand. He threw it just over the top, got around Bogdan's guard. Daniel, to me, you might disagree, but he looks like someone that's starting to think about boxing. He's starting to grow. He's starting to become a man and becoming a clever heavyweight.
Well, he is. But I thought he was doing that anyway before the Joe Joyce fight. He was improving every fight, and Joe, we all know what happened in that fight. Joe did what he had to do, with a superb jab, and I think he used his jab tonight to good effect, Daniel. So he's 23 years of age, and he's put himself back at the top table now, and that's where he's at. And so now we've got to start talking to Brian Jennings and see where we go from that.
Trevor Bryant.
Sorry. And now we've got to start talking edits, Trevor Bryant, and see where we go from there.
We'll have both of them. It's absolutely fine. Nathan Heaney, chief support tonight. He brought 600 people with him. It sounded like you say, like 60,000. But he also showed he could box a little bit. What do you want to do with Nathan? Where do you see him going?
Well, first of all, he only got 600 because that's all we let him have. We're going to run up here regularly. We've got Lennox up here, a few of the other youngsters, and we know we can turn this into a real good situation in the Midlands. The ultimate for him, which I know he'd love, and I'd love to be the person to deliver it for him, is to put a title fight on at Stoke City's ground. That's what I'd like to do.
I think he'd love that. That's what he said to us, is what he wants to do. Just quickly cover some of the others on the card. Obviously, Tommy Fury was on the card. Difficult fight for Tommy. I think he won the fight, but he's not happy with his performance. What did you make of it?
Well, look, he did win the fight, and he won it well. And I think there was quite a bit of abuse going on as he was coming to the ring, which I didn't think was. Well, I just didn't like that. It's just awful. Having said that, he is a novice. He was going into that fight. He was a 5-fight novice. So now so tonight he fought a guy who's 2-0, come to fight, fancied the job. And he dealt with it. He got his jab going. There's a lot of stuff to work on because he's a novice. His last professional bout was his last amateur bout was when he was 16, and he's had 5 pro bouts. He's a novice. He's got a long way to go yet, and I'm not going to let him be rushed. And it's all about learning and coming away from these fights, watching them back, and improving on a performance. And that's what I hope he'll do. I don't think it helped that he was in the States all that time, and then came back. Was it 10 days ago? He needs to be with his trainer constantly, in my opinion. And obviously we'll have a chat about that with his dad and himself next week. But he needs to knuckle down now, and he needs to focus on, which he's obviously got the determination and the brain to know that he needs to keep working with his trainer in the gym, knuckle down and do that, and then he'll become a better fighter. But he's got a way to go. There's a lot of things that he does okay, and there's some things that he don't do okay, and he'll know that better than I do.
The thing he said to us was he regretted coming in at 190 pounds. He said, "I've eaten too much food in Vegas. I need to get on my weight."
Crazy. Are you a light heavyweight or are you a cruiserweight? can't be both. You're one or the other. And he's a light heavyweight. And he's right, and I'm pleased he said that and admitted that. So, you know, that again was one of the problems being out there. You know, it is what it is. You need the supervision of your trainer. You need to be there. Trainer needs to be putting you on your scales every day, weighing you when you start, weighing you when you finish, monitoring your weight. Because what weight are we going to make the matches at? It's a problem for us and the matchmaker.
I think one of the standout performers for me tonight was young Liam Davis, first fight for us.
Yeah.
He got a bit excited. He went in for a bit of a tear up. He said that himself. But he then came back out here. He stared down the barrel of that camera and said, "I want Dennis McCann." Is that the sort of fight you'd be interested in for Dennis in the future?
I think it's a great fight for us to make down the road, and you know, let's look at it, and we can, you know, what I think he's at 8 or 9-0 now. 9-0 now, so he's 9-0 now. So it's one we can build towards, and what a big fight that'll be between them, you know, two absolutely talented young fighters. That's mouth-watering. So let them get. I want to see them two get to about 15-0 apiece, and then make that fight be a great fight.
There was other great performances tonight. Kevin Ajarko looked fantastic again. George Bance on the undercard, youngest professional boxer in Britain. His manager told me today, I didn't realise that. Adam Mohammed. The Queensberry stable, a lot of young fighters. It's in a good place though, right?
Well, it is, and there are a lot of good youngsters coming through, and you know, Adnan done well, and as you say, Keenan done. I think he's going to be really a star. And I think he called out Denzel, didn't he? Denzel afterwards. I mean, that's a mouth-watering fight again to make down the road, maybe towards the end of the year. There's some good fights there to be made, and these youngsters are quality young fighters, and I can see, you know, big futures ahead for all of them.
Before I let you go, one last question. Go back to the main event. Daniel Dubois. When would you like to see him back out?
As soon as possible. I'll see him out in September.
Easy as that. Thank you.
Easy as that.